We're getting closer and closer to being able to stake XRP with Flare. I'm hearing we're a couple weeks away, and I want to go over this information again. I want to make sure everyone is prepared. For those of you that own XRP, that want to participate, we're going to go over the Flare infrastructure and what it's going to look like with Firelight and some of the protocols, just to give you a heads up in preparation. Remember, preparation, studying, education is everything in this crypto world. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is Zip here to give you an update on Flare and the excitement of XRP staking, liquid staking, non-custodial wallets. We're going to go over the mechanisms within Flare and Firelight and everything going on. But rumor is we're only a couple weeks away, and they're moving fast and updates are coming out. So want to be prepared. I want everyone to be prepared. And again, we're going to discuss cautions and risks and what to do and what not to do and kind of what I'm doing stepping into this. All right, so let's get right into it. So the protocol being used within the Flare environment for the XRP staking is Firelight. That is the company, US based, that is running that operation. And they're going to be rolling it out over in 2 phases. You know, we're going to be able to earn rewards and Firelight points while keeping our STXRP liquid and usable across all Flare networks DeFi ecosystem. So you're probably wondering, what the hell is STXRP? And we're going to get into that. And it's also phase 2 is going to be securing the SSNs, which we're going to go over, and how to earn within this environment. Again, there's going to be different risk tolerances and vaults, as they're calling them. So we're going to, if you decide to do this, you'll be able to establish how much risk you want to have within this environment. You know, if you want to highly risk, more reward, basically is probably what it's going to be. But let's jump into it. Saw this out here from Hugo Filion. You know, I spent much of the last week in the US with the Firelight team. This product is hugely innovative and has the potential to put billions, if not tens of billions of XRP to work on Flare. And that's what we want to look for, ladies and gentlemen. We want to look for ways to earn yield, but we want them to be safe. I want to hold my assets in my own non-custodial, wallet. There are some products out there right now where they're offering, 3 to 5% yield on XRP, but it's CeFi. It's not being held in my wallet. It's not within my control to where I can pull it back at any given time and I can understand what's going on in that environment. So for me, not willing to risk my XRP in that environment at all. Now, going into this, we're talking about risk. I'm also not willing to risk all of my XRP. And as I've stated in other videos, I'm going to take my time with this. I'm going to deploy small amounts of XRP to begin with to make sure I understand what is going on in this environment. Remember, I did a video, the last Flare video I did, we talked about F assets and how that all works with regards to minting your XRP. And I've been doing that on the Songbird network for a while now and testing things out in there to become familiar with the mechanism and the process. But we'll go over that a little bit again tonight. Now, again, Blair putting out here, you ever wish you could stake XRP and earn yield like on Ethereum or some of these other protocols that have staking available right on their blockchain, like HBAR? Yes, we have. And we're always looking for opportunities, but we need to be cautious and safe about that. We know the XRP ledger does not support native staking. For anyone that's new out there, staking is not native on the XRPL. So how's this going to work? Let me get this situated here so we can have multiple screens. So over here on the right-hand side of the screen, you're going to see the actual architecture. Okay. This is what's going on within the architecture. You can go out here on X. They have this posted out here if you want to go back and look at this more deeply, or stop the video and watch it, and pause it as we're going through with this. But step one, we need to bridge our XRP into FXRP, okay, on Flare, on the Flare F Assets portal. So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to deposit XRP and we're going to convert that into F assets. The Flare data connector is what's going to verify it. We're going to receive then FXRP on Flare. And again, we've already been doing this. I've already been doing this on Songbird today. And, there's more and more use cases that are coming out once you have that FXRP. And in this video tonight, you're going to see some of those other capabilities. But just a reminder, so what we were doing, if we go out to the F Asset Oracle, page right now on the Songbird network, excuse me, you can see they have all this established. Basically, you're going to go to the minting tab and you're going to have to connect I'm using the Bifrost wallet. Okay, you can use MetaMask, but I prefer Bifrost, but you find the wallet that you want to use, and you're going to have XRP in that wallet, and you're basically just going to connect it. I'm already connected to my Bifrost wallet, as you can see here on the Songbird network. You can see I've minted 10 XRP, which turned it into FXRP. And we can come in here, and it's very, very easy. You're going to basically pick a lot. And right now, if I wanted to mint 10 more XRP, I could do that. You're just going to click the next button. You do have to have, in this instance, Songbird. So when we are talking about the Flare network, you will have to have some Flare, because that is the gas token that's being utilized. Okay, but very, very easy process to mint your XRP into FXRP. Now, looking at the diagram, we now have FXRP. What are we going to do with it? Well, Firelight, if you decide to stake it, because there's going to be other opportunities that we'll talk about, but we're going to focus on staking first. You're basically going to stake your FXRP to get STXRP. We're going to deposit that XRP into the Firelight vault, and that's where they're talking about there will be different vault protocols for different, risk tolerances and reward, percentages. There's going to be an LST contract that mints that STXRP, and then your FXRP is staked in a secured service network. So we can see that transaction happening here. We're putting it into the Firelight vault. When we go to stake it, the LST contract is basically going to take care of that and turn it into XRP. All right. Now, what is a SSN? And I know there's a lot of information here, but I want to go over this as best as possible. And you can always go back and you can look at this later on, but this is going to give you familiarization with the terminology. So SSNs, just think of them like protectors or guardians of the Flare network enterprise. They're basically just decentralized network nodes. They're ran independently by independent operators, that are securing and supporting, all of the Flare environment. The SSNs are validating transactions. They're ensuring the integrity of the assets, in this instance, like FXRP, which is really just a wrapped version of XRP. That's all it is. All right. If you're not familiar with this environment, that's why now's the time to prepare. And what are they going to do? They're going to power Flare's unique staking system. All right. So then by staking Flare's, native token Flare, using that as the gas, these operators earn rewards while keeping the network safe. And that's how some of these rewards and the yield generation and percentages happen. All right. So that's the staking of XRP. Again, we've taken it from our wallet. We've gone to the Flare F Assets portal. We've minted it into FXRP, and we put it into the Firelight vault. We've staked it. It now becomes STXRP. And as soon as this is up and running, I will build a video and walk right through it so you have it. Now, what are the use cases now that we have the STXRP? Well, there's multiples of them. There's the staking that we're talking about that you're going to be earning rewards on. We're also going to be able to take the STXRP and utilize it as collateral to unlock liquidity, what? Without selling, and earning additional rewards in rFlare. rFlare is the emissions token. There's so many ways to earn yield within Flare. We're also going to have the capability to take our STXRP and provide liquidity with it on the DEXs and earn trading fees on top of just staking XRP and earning yield from that. Okay, that is similar to this here, where I'm providing liquidity on the Songbird network in a pool. I'm taking it and I'm providing liquidity for the pools. Okay, very safe, no issues with it. Been doing it for a while, and that's earning free rewards because you're locking it up and you're helping enhance and protect the network. Thirdly, we're going to be able to leverage. We're going to be able to use STXRP and protocols like Cyclo for liquidation free leverage. You know, this is creating the flywheel effect. You know, more and more XRP will be bridged and staked, more utility and more liquidity for STXRP will be established, and STXRP becomes more attractive to hold. You know, there is so much to do with this. And again, so that was coming down here for the staking piece of that. If we have FXRP, you can see here all the various yield opportunities as well. You can go into the DeFi, you can go into the DEXs. Again, you have to understand what you're doing with all this, ladies and gentlemen. And there are some risks if you're going into high yield and you're going into liquidity pools. Okay, there's going to be lending opportunities, yield markets. And again, we're securing service networks with SSNs, which means we get yield from that for helping enhance the Flare environment. Absolutely exciting times. And this is coming here very, very, very shortly. Again, we have been waiting for quite a while for, you know, some kind of staking capability within for our XRP. Now, risk tolerance. Again, I am not jumping all in on this. I'm not risking my whole bag, but I am going to take a small percentage of my bag and I am going to enter this ecosystem because that's what it's about. It's about learning, and there is no reward without risk. And that's just a fact. So you may take 5%, maybe 10%, but for Zip, not taking the whole bag, but I am excited about Flare and looking forward to this opportunity in the coming weeks. I would imagine sometime early July, we're going to have this capability. And I just wanted to get this out to everyone because you're going to see it more and more. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to prepare. If you currently are in the Flare environment, again, you can go out if you have Songbird and you can play with some of this already as far as supplying collateral to the pools and minting FX or XRP into FXRP. Very, very easy to do. And there's other DeFi protocols out there you can play with as well. Within the Flare environment, remember, here's like a cheat sheet, okay? Flare, there are multiple opportunities. If you, depending on how much Flare you have, you can just delegate it. If you want to just delegate it and earn rewards every week, or yeah, every week, you know, every epoch. You're also going to qualify for the monthly drops of additional Flare because you have it locked up. So you'll get rewards that way. There's liquid staking that I talked about in the last video with Scepter, making 54% right now on my Flare token. for just staking it. And then I can take the S Flare and go do other fun stuff with it in the DeFi environment. We're able to lend and borrow with Kinetic. We can swap our Flare, for other tokens like USDTO into other S Flare. So many different other things you can swap it into as you're farming it. There's trade perps that we talked about in the last video. And then again, the leverage as far as being able to leverage it and lend and borrow and all this environment that is coming to Flare that is going to put our XRP to use. Very exciting. Looking forward to it. I hope you got something out of this video. We'll keep you updated on this when it drops. And when it drops, we'll do a live walkthrough, just like I did with Songbird, and go through exactly how to utilize the environment. And again, talk about the risks, talk about the cautions, and just keep you abreast so you're ready to go if you're excited to put your XRP to use and generate some additional yield in this environment. Remember, just having XRP is phenomenal, but having XRP that can work for you and earn yield is even better. And that's where we're going to in the future, in this world. All the institutions are jumping on board with this. We've seen Vivo Power has a contract with Flare where they're going to take $100 million worth of their XRP, and they are going to be putting it into these environments. If it's good enough for the institutions, it's definitely good enough for me. But with that, continue to be safe. We'll keep you updated and look forward to putting more content out and keeping you updated on this journey as we travel it together. With that, Zip is out.